Hello, beautyloving unicorns, welcome back to my channel. And this video that is going to be, I talked about this a really long time ago, and it's like what I think brands should release. So this is just going to be my personal opinion on what I would feel made sense coming from a brand, or even maybe what I'd be excited to get. So this is going to be 5 palettes from 5 different companies, and they are built on this company's existing line, existing like layout of palettes. So I didn't like reinvent invent, I'm confusing myself, like a palette design. I only put in colors in an existing palette to show you how easy it could be for them to release something that would complement what they already have and also be a bit more fun and exciting compared to a lot of the things that we've seen lately. Because I did do a video about this lately, why brands seem to suck at colorful palettes, and I did touch there on that I feel like there is a lack of color stories. So this is going to be me building on that video a bit, showing you what I think would make sense for brands to release. And I'm also going to do a video about makeup palettes that already exist that I feel have a very good color story. Like, they're not rainbow palettes and they're not neutrals with a pop of color. If you're wondering about my makeup look, I did film this. If it's up, it's gonna be in the description box, but I don't think it's up. But just so you know, I did film this look and it should be coming somewhat soon. If you hear noise, my neighbors are celebrating. I hope they're celebrating because they seem to be drunk out of control. Like, it's madness. But yeah, if you hear that's not us. That's not us. So yeah, I'm sorry about that in advance. So let's just talk about like what brands. Like, I'm gonna pull them up here on my phone so that I can see them like in front of me when I talk about them, so I don't like forget what I'm supposed to talk about. Maybe I should scooch a bit. I'll be here. I see in the viewfinder that you have some space now. The first palette that I thought would make sense to release is a palette that I redid from Urban Decay. Urban Decay has this line of mini naked palettes, and they just recently came up with a new one that is the Mini Heat? Naked Heat Mini? What is it called? You know what I mean. The small mini heat palette that has all mattes. Wait, maybe one of them is satin. I think it's all mattes, but one of them could be a satin. I'm not really sure. But anyways, and that palette was supposed to be like complementary to the Urban Decay, the big heat palette, although most people seem to think that they were pretty much the same color. So yeah, you have that. But I instead came up with this palette. I feel like Urban Decay has 2 palettes that people actually really seem to like. They are lacking in mattes so much, and that is the Naked 3, the Naked Basics 3, the big one, the rose gold one, and the new Backtop palette. And if they could release something like this, they could call it the Mini Rose or something. This would be like the rosy cool tones, even with a purple and a pink, that could really complement those 2 palettes and give more options to people that have those 2 palettes and that really want to have more mattes to play with. Because I think that both those 2 palettes are really nice, but they are lacking some dimension and they are lacking some mattes. So I think that something like this would really complement the Urban Decay range, and I think that a lot of people would appreciate having something like this. How I did these palettes is that I use PicMonkey when I edit pictures for my thumbnails. So I basically put up the Naked Heat, one of the basic ones, because you can see it in the reflection, and I just changed the colors to other existing eyeshadows, but I don't know which existing eyeshadows. I'm really sorry, I don't know which existing eyeshadows, just wanted to get the texture, so to speak. So this would be my first suggestion, and I actually have to say that if Urban Decay didn't release something like this, like the mini Backtop or something like that, or the Mini Rose, or I don't know, I would be very surprised, because I think that this palette would make a lot of sense. And to be honest, these are the kinds of tones that I love having together with really vibrant metallic tones. So I might actually pick this one up as well, because I'd love something like this. The next palette I want to talk about is from Dose of Colors. Dose of Colors has those really beautiful small like 4-pan palettes. I will try and put on the side like the ones that I have right now, because they have 4 different. They have the berries one, which is like a red pink one, red coral one more even, a brown one, a dusty mauve one, and then they have the sassy sienna one, the ones that's like orange. And I think, thinking about what has been the big trend lately and thinking about what would actually fit this color scheme, because I would be happy to see blue, but I don't think a lot of people will be ready for blue yet. Even, I mean, if they release a blue, I'll be so happy. But I think it would make a lot of sense for them to release something like this. This is an all matte yellow eyeshadow palette, and I think a lot of people would love to see this. This one has a, let me just look at it, this one has a really bright yellow in the middle, and then 2 more lighter yellows, and then 2 more like mustardy darker ones. And I think that people would go bananas over this palette. I'll buy it in a heartbeat. A 5-pan palette with 5 matte yellows, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. And I think that this would be nice because this would go together with at least 3 of their 4 existing palettes. Maybe it wouldn't go that good together with the mauve dusty one, but the other 3 would look amazing together with this yellow palette, which would also be a way to get customers to return. Like if you own any of our palettes before, this yellow one would look really good with that one. And also if they go into yellow, it's very easy to take the next step that could be green, because green and yellow go so well together. And yellow has been a very hit color, but you could only find one in a palette. And I know there's been some talk going around, I see it in the comments, people are complaining that it's really hard to find good yellows, and it's always one yellow. So I think that a palette like this would sell so good, and I actually really hope that Dose of Colors will release this, because I would buy it in a heartbeat. Let me look at the next one. The next one is something that, oh my god, I have mentioned this briefly, and this is something that I would love to see. At first when I did this palette, I did something different, and then I remembered that the way that this company designs palettes is that they like to make a palette that you could do a full look with. And this brand is Viseart. And I decided to take on their, not the theory ones, but the petite ones, the one that has 8 pans. And I'm just like, Viseart is one of the brands I really want to try, but I just want something that's up my alley. And I mentioned in a video before that I would love to see something more jewel toned for like autumn. It would be amazing, and something that's more like cool tone, because they have done so many warm tone things now. And I did the green one, of course. The green one wasn't warm tone, but it was only 3 greens. So what I would like to see is something like this. I would love to see this, because this one has like a dusty purple, and then actually the metallic purple, that's the very lavender one, that is Daydreamer, to call that, from Makeup Geek, the lilac-y one. And I know that a shade like that, if you put it with a purple, it will pull purple, but if you use it on its own, it's going to be very icy, and you can use it as an inner corner highlight. And I thought that that dusty purple could be a transition shade to give for the brighter purples and the brighter blues, and also the greens. You can do a look on your own, like on its own with that green, and if you wanted to have an inner corner highlight, you could use that icy one. So I think that this is a palette that I could do many different looks with, like many different looks. And you can also get a good look just by using the matte one together with the shimmery one. I feel like this is something that this is what I want to see from Viseart. Like, they still have colors like this in their range, but like not together in a small palette like this. I don't want to buy that super big palette just to get like shades that are like new and interesting. So I would love something like this. This could be the Velvet Jewel palette. So I'm even giving you names, but I would love to see a palette like this. And I would also love for a brand to start a trend like this, having jewel tones both in the matte and the shimmery together. And I think that Viseart would be perfect for that, because they are known to have very nice mattes, and I've heard that the dark mattes that actually has some of those jewel tone mattes is really, really nice formula. I just don't want to buy that big of a palette. I want to have something smaller, so I would love to see something like this. Oh, I'd love it. Just something that isn't so warm and a bit new. Like, that's what I would love to see. The next one is actually one from Colourpop. And I know that like you probably wanted me to design one of the 12 pan palettes, but I have to say that the most intriguing concept lately in the makeup like beauty community and the makeup community is the smaller palettes. And I think that those small 6 pan palettes that Colourpop has started with, those look so good, and I would love them to like really explore like the place that they have in the makeup industry right now, because they could be rebels, because they are fast on trends, they have their own factory, they can get out things really fast, and they can do like new colors and new concepts, and if they don't like it, they own the factory, they can stop production, and they can also, they don't are such at such a low cost that people might end up trying things that they normally wouldn't have tried because it's so affordable. I think that these small 6 pan palettes are like $12 or something, and that is amazing. I think a lot of people could see themselves spending $12 on something that isn't their style just to see if maybe it actually is. And I would love Colourpop to come out with 6 pan palettes that has like 2 different colors and make a color story out of that. I used one of the existing palettes, so this doesn't at all go together with the packaging, but the palette that I designed looks like this. This is a palette with a pinky purple green theme. I would love this. I would love this. And how I imagine this, and this is actually really hard to get in the picture. I imagine this to be the first gray purple you see. That is actually a pink duochrome shade, but it doesn't really show on picture. But it's a pink duochrome, a bright pink, like mid-tone Barbie pink matte, and then it's like a purplish burgundy matte to deepen out that color or the other ones, because that works really good as well. Then it's a bright grass green, like metallic. I want something really smooth and nice, and then it's a matte lime green and a darker like moss grass vegetable green. I would love this. Like 4 mattes, 2 shimmers, one of them being a duochrome. I could do so much with this palette, and I think also a lot of people would appreciate this because pink and green isn't like totally out there, and a lot of people that are afraid of color would be able to do something with this just picking 1 or 2 colors. I would do something with this palette alone, but this is so small. These palettes are small, they're like a big bronzer, so I see a lot of people feeling that it's convenient to have a pop of color on the side if they don't feel like they want to do a full look. But for us that don't like browns, we can just buy the palette and skip the neutrals. I am so into this whole thing of mixing and matching smaller palettes with each other. I find that so inspiring. Like I get inspired and happy just thinking about it. Oh, I really hope that that becomes a trend, because I could see Colourpop excel in that game with that, like with these 6 pan palettes, and just come up with a bunch of fun things. And I would love for them to branch out a bit with something like this. The last palette I wanted to do is from Juvia's Place. I love Juvia's Place. I think Juvia's Place is amazing. But I think that now is the time to let go of the oranges and browns and just do a palette that would complement all of those palettes that they have already released into something new and fun, that for people who didn't want to get those palettes, this palette could be a good standalone palette. Like I could use this palette on its own, but for people who have those neutral palettes and just want to complement some of those colors with some other new ones, this palette would be bomb. This is my baby. I would love to buy this palette. This is the same format as I used the Saharan 1 palette with the smaller pans, because I think that a palette like this, it would benefit from having smaller pans, so you wouldn't have such a big palette and you can keep the price down. Because like I said before, a lot of people could totally see themselves spending maybe even $20-25 on a colorful palette, but when it's like $50, they're like, I don't know. So this would be a way for people to get into colors. Same here, 2 of the shades are duochromes. So this is what I thought. And we'll start up in the uppermost corner, and we'll just go row by row down, and I will tell you how I thought about the finish. The first one is a pinky, like a very bright pinky duochrome with a white base. Then it is a pinky purple duochrome shimmer, is a matte sky blue, a matte grass green, and then it is a sky, like a baby blue, sky blue metallic. I love that kind of shade, but we don't see it, and I would love to have something like that. Then it is a bright, like very lime green matte. Like, think of the one that wasn't like the Prism palette. I think that would be beautiful. Then it is a color that is a matte mid-tone pink. Somewhat similar to the one I had in the other palette, because Juvia's Place has a lot of really nice, deeper pinks and purples, and I think that something mid-tone like this that isn't too peach would really benefit them. Then it is a lime green metallic, and that shade is actually Limelight by Makeup Geek. I think that kind of shade would be amazing in their range, because they have some nice greens, but nothing like that. And then it is what would I call it, like a cotton candy matte, something that would work as a lid color if you are into having a matte on the lid, but also something that could be used, like, instead of a matte bone color, it's more of a light pinky nude, so it could be used as a highlight or a lid color if you're a darker skin tone. If you're my skin tone, it would probably be used as a highlighter and a lid color as well. But if you are really light, you'd probably use it in the crease. I might be able to use something like that in the crease as well, not when I have a tan, but otherwise. Then it is a bright magenta pink metallic, because they have some really nice, like I told you, magenta mattes, and to have a magenta pink shimmer with that would be amazing. Then it's a light blue duochrome, so there's a pink duochrome and a blue duochrome, and I really think that would bring something more, because they have a purple duochrome since before, and they have a green duochrome, so bringing in a pink and a blue as well in this palette would make a lot of sense for me. And then it is a dark velvet matte purple that is not as dark and like warm as the one in the Magic palette, so slightly cooler and slightly lighter. That is my dream palette. Like, something like this from Juvia's, I would love that. It would go so well together with the rest of my collection from Juvia's, like all those greens together with those matte reds. Yum! And all those blues together with all those pinks that they have since before. Oh, I'd love it. So yeah, these are the palettes that I came up with, and I have so many more ideas. It has taken me a really long time to Photoshop this though. So that's why this has been taking so long, and I had to like marinate on it as well, like what would I actually want to see. But I was very excited to plan this and to film this and to do this. So if you would like to see a part 2, let me know. Maybe I can do a part 2. I am also going to film, like I said, existing palettes that have really good color stories as well. I just need to gather the troops because it's a bit messy. I don't know if I've told you, but I am switching makeup rooms. I might be telling you this in different videos just so you don't miss it. But I'm switching makeup rooms. Right now I am in the smallest room in the apartment, and I am switching to the room that is next to this room, and it's a slightly bigger room, so there's going to be some kind of reorganization here. So that's why it's very messy around me, because I just can't be bothered right now because I'm moving very soon. I'm gonna stop babbling because it's Friday night and I want to hang out with my hubby. Thank you so much for being here. Do let me know how you feel about these ideas, and let me know what you think would be, like, what would you be the most excited if you saw a brand release? Let me know, because I really want to hear about it, because I try to take into consideration here as well, like what would make somewhat sense for the brand. And maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just say, like, I want an all blue palette. But yeah, that was it for today. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for commenting and liking my videos. I love reading your comments, and I try to answer as many of them as possible. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I would love to see you subscribed. The button is down below. I do upload quite a lot of videos, and I would love to see you in my next one. Bye!